What is a counseling center and how can it help a college student? Join me today for another campus conversation and we'll find out together. Welcome to Campus Conversation. I'm your host, Dr. Manuel G. Saldivar. Today I'm joined by Leah Ellis and Adelia Wieland, clinical therapists with the Counseling Center at UTRGV.
The Counseling Center provides mental health support for currently enrolled UTRGV students. We do outreach, including participating in orientations for new students, in order to promote wellness and also to ensure that students know about our services. We also do presentations and training upon request for students, faculty, and staff. One important training that we provide is QPR, which is a suicide gatekeeper training. Our staff is made up of licensed mental health therapists who provide individual, couples, and group counseling. We also have a collegiate recovery program within the Counseling Center, which works to assist students with addiction education and ongoing support. And we also provide training to master's level counseling students who are in the graduate program. So we see students for a range of issues, including the transition basically to being a college student is a big one. Also disruption of mood like anxiety and depression, and then relational issues, and then also issues related to identity such as sexuality and gender. So on our first meeting, we do a screening session, which is usually about 20 to 30 minutes long. And in that session, we're gathering kind of basic information, including why they're seeking services, sort of symptoms, that kind of thing. And then from there, we come up with a game plan for what we want to do next. That might be individual counseling, or it may be a referral to one of our groups. And the therapist and client kind of come up with that plan together.
I mean, I don't think there's anything specifically that they need to do to prepare. I think just know that, especially if it's your first time to ever go to counseling, it might be a little bit uncomfortable just because you're meeting somebody new and you're expecting to kind of talk about these semi-intimate details of your life. So you might be a little bit nervous and anxious. That's okay. We try to make the experience as painless as possible. Obviously, right now, the experience is a little bit different because you're not physically coming into the center, but still, you know, we're the same on camera, kind of in our homes as we would be in our offices in terms of we're the same therapist, but really nothing to do to prepare. The only thing they have to be eligible, you know, is to be a student, but just kind of like an open mind, to be open to the process. Yeah, I think that's understandable, especially if maybe they've had negative experiences in the past with either other counselors or I know other students have access, counseling centers at other campuses, maybe they're a transfer student, and so we totally understand that. We would say just please give us a chance. You've never actually met us or had the experience with us, and even if you maybe didn't have the best experience with us before, there's lots of different counselors, right? And what we say kind of with counselors is you really want to have a good fit with your counselor, just like anything else. And sometimes for whatever reason, you just might not be a good fit, and that's okay. So we can kind of talk about that and possibly transfer you to another counselor if that's appropriate. So we would just say, please give us a chance. Don't write us off before trying us. We're really open to feedback. Dr. Albert, our director, he's really into feedback in terms of sending out satisfaction surveys to get that feedback from students so we can know what we can do better. So just give us a chance is what I would say. think a lot of students, especially again, if they've never experienced counseling, they might think that they're going to come in and we're going to have them like lay down on the couch, or do all of these like weird kind of funky things, and that's not true, or that we're just going to really maybe prescribe medication. So just to know, the counseling center, we don't prescribe medication. We do work with some psychiatrists in the community and sometimes with student health if we feel that medication is indicated, but ourselves, we're not licensed to prescribe medication. And we really try to work with the student, if they're comfortable, and kind of work through all those things. But we don't have them lay on the couch. Some of us don't even have couches, actually. So you just sit down in a regular chair. So it's nothing like maybe that you've seen, there's no, well, none of us are trained in hypnosis, not that we would use hypnosis, but nothing like that. So not necessarily what you might think of if you see in the movies. It's just kind of, you sit down, we ask you how you're doing, how you've been feeling, kind of talk about your symptoms, and we go from there. One thing that I think they don't know about, because it is fairly new, is we have an Instagram page that we're pretty excited about. So one of our therapists, mostly this is her thing, it's like social media. She runs it, although we all kind of help her, and she comes up with really fun ideas. So especially since we've moved to all kind of online and we can't do a lot of our events in person anymore, or at all, we're trying to do a lot of events on Instagram Live. So I know we've done one with one of our therapists, Annette, and actually her daughter, and they made like homemade stress balls to show the students how to make homemade stress balls. So that was kind of fun. We've done like a day in the life of therapists, or a day in the life of our master level interns. She tries to post like a lot of encouragement on there. Anytime we have upcoming groups, we post it on there. So definitely our Instagram page, I would say, is very cool. I mean, I don't even know if that's what they say these days, but it is very cool and underrated. I just think it's kind of new, so not a lot of people know about it. So follow us.
I would just say one of the main reasons is sometimes they forget that we're there. So really letting them know that we exist is really important. And then they're also, I hear from a lot of the students that it's kind of a cultural barrier. Their families aren't really supportive of mental health, or knowledgeable about mental health and seeking treatment in that way.
I think it's getting a lot better, but I think there is still some shame and stigma about going to get counseling. Are people going to think that I'm crazy, or kind of all those other things, or no, I'm not that depressed, like it's fine, I'm just sad sometimes, or kind of all those different things that we hear a lot. I think a lot of our students are first time, have never come to the counseling center, but it's kind of gotten so bad that they feel like they just have to, right? But you don't have to wait until it's so bad. And I always just remind students, like, hey, your mind is so important. Like if you broke your arm, you're going to go to the doctor, right? Or if you're in pain or something, you're going to go to the doctor and get help. Like there's no shame in that. It's the same thing with your mind. And your mind affects so many other things, including relationships, school, all those things. So it's nothing to be shameful. There's no stigma. And the truth of the matter is, like, if you look at statistics, a lot of people struggle with their mental health, and that's okay. It's just nobody talks about it, right? But the more that we can talk about it and just like bring it into the light, the better that it's going to be, and that it's okay to go and get a little help sometimes. We all kind of need a little help sometimes. So we just encourage them to kind of push past those things. And I think a lot of it is like, can come from their family, like, oh, you don't need that, or so we're trying to work through that. And that's what our events were a lot for, just to kind of push past that stigma and so forth. So I think that's why a lot of students don't come.
Many thanks to Leah Ellis and Adelia Wieland for joining us today. Please note the center's contact information and website are linked in the description box below. If you like this video, please click on the thumbs up below. And if you really like this video, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications by clicking on the bell icon. Subscribers will be automatically notified by YouTube of future videos in this series. I'm Dr. Manuel G. Saldivar, and this has been another Campus Conversation. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you'll join us for future videos.